Hello, friends. Do you have a moment so that we may discuss our Lord and Savior Minarchy? No, seriously, I'm just kidding. Hi, my name's Rick Robinson. I am the general manager of KLRNradio.com. We are probably the largest independent podcast network that you've never heard of. We have a little bit of everything, and by that, what I mean to tell you is we have news, pop culture, special events, conspiratainment, true crime, mental health shows, drama productions, and pretty much everything in between. So if you're looking for a new podcast home to grab a little bit of everything that you love all in one place, come check us out. You can find us on X under @KLRNradio. You can find us on our Rumble and our YouTube channels under the same names. You can also find us at KLRNradio.com and pretty much every podcast catcher known to man. So again, feel free to come check us out anytime you like at KLRNradio.
Remember when entertainment was actually entertaining? When comedy was about being funny, movies were about telling great stories, and you didn't need a political lecture every time you hit play. Great entertainment still exists, it's just getting harder to find. Even the biggest streaming platforms leave audiences disappointed. That's why there's Studio TST, pure entertainment, real comedy, independent films, bold creators, movies, comedy, music, and more, and the home of fearless sketch comedy. That show tonight, entertainment the way you want it. Funny, creative, unapologetic, and agenda-free. Studio TST, the future of entertainment starts here. Join Studio TST today for just $5 a month.
Everyone, this is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of He Said, She Said. I am one of your hosts for the evening, Aggie, and with me is the very awesome Rowdy Rick. How are you doing tonight?
It's hot. I have the clip from Good Morning Vietnam running in my head right now.
I was thinking of Biloxi Blues. I don't know if you remember that movie with Matthew Broderick. It's like,
yes, I do.
He's off. He's like, it's hot. Yeah, it's, and they're going to like basic. It's like Africa hot. So,
Yeah.
and that's why I always say, oh, it's hot outside. No, it's Africa hot. I always say that.
It's Africa hot, yo. Yeah, no, it was, I think the high today was like 102. It's down to a cool 97 now though. So yay. We have a cold front coming through tomorrow, according to the weatherman, which is going to be weird because it's going to be like 97 tomorrow and then like 67 overnight.
Are you serious? There's a cold front coming? Nobody told me.
Which means my body's going to hate me Sunday because that's a really large swing and my muscles are going to be like, yeah, this sucks. We quit. So yeah. Good thing I don't do much on Sundays lately except for try to go to church and then usually climb back into bed. Anyway, so yeah, cold. Supposedly it's a cold front, but it's summertime, so it's more of a here's a little breeze,
breeze front,
and then you might see some thunderstorms. They were actually expecting those today. We didn't get anything pop.
I I would love it if it would rain here, and then I would hate it as soon as it started raining, and then I'd be like, "Please let this be over." And as soon as it's over, please let it rain again. I can never be happy. I don't understand me. I mean, I
I
love it when it
just,
rains. I
for the
do.
record, folks, she said it. Just saying.
I mean, I when it comes to rain, I love it when it rains. But if I have it in my head to work on a project or do something outside or go somewhere and it's raining, I feel trapped. And it's just like I don't want that feeling. So if there's rain on the schedule, I have to psych myself up, finish every single project, go wherever I need to go so that I could be ensconced in the safety of my house when it's raining. So if I don't plan it, then I get, impatient. Well, not really impatient, just I don't know. But if I plan it, if I know it's going to rain and I plan it, then it's okay. And if it doesn't rain, then it's fine. I can manage to do other things. I mean, as y'all know, my bathroom is being renovated, so I cannot see still if there is somebody working in my house. And I have to be doing something. I feel guilty if somebody's working in my house and I'm not doing anything. So, as y'all know, I have been redoing a lot of stuff in the house. Like a lot. I reorganized my entire utility room. I reorganized my pantry. I reorganized all my kitchen cabinets. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I've been refinishing tables. I've been refinishing furniture. I've been donating stuff. You know, so I've been keeping busy. And there's one part of the house that has driven me crazy, and that's where
There's a jungle out there.
it's not that. I am not OCD over this. I just feel guilty. So I have to be doing something. That's all. It's not an
Uh-huh,
OCD thing, trust me.
uh-huh, uh-huh,
Uh,
uh-huh.
but one of the things that I've been dying to do is there's this little cubby right off of the den, and this is where the gentleman that used to own the house had his office. And I thought I could make it into the house office, but it doesn't have a door or anything like that, so there wouldn't be any privacy. Um, that's why I would have set up my podcasting there, but the voice would carry throughout the den and the house. And so I just figured I'll just stick to a bedroom, but I can't. I'm at the cabin now because someone is playing their their gaming and it takes too much bandwidth. So I'm taking it all apart. That's where the liquor cabinet is. So pray that I don't break anything because I really don't want to clean up liquor. I really don't. So
I
that's my
remember what
project for next week.
I remember when you first started talking about him playing games, and you were like, "It's cool because he does his thing and I do my thing." And now every time you talk about him playing games, it sounds semi-stabby.
Oh, no, because before he was just playing by himself, and now that he's in a hive collective, um, that game that he's playing now takes more bandwidth, and so I can't do a lot of the podcasting up in the house because then it lags. I lag, he doesn't. So I just came down here, and it's fine. I think
You
it's
know,
kind of funny. He feels bad, but
you know what you do? You just buy him a big TV for Father's Day and put it in the cabin. You're like, there, now go doing that
I
game in there.
seriously thought about doing that and setting him up here in the cabin, but then, it's kind of like he's comfortable up there, and it's okay. It's fine. I do this twice a week, sometimes four times a week, depending on where the first and second, first Monday and second Wednesday fall.
Nice. So, by the way, for the record, thanks for getting the Till Tuesday song stuck in my head.
Sorry.
As soon as you said voices carry, it
Sorry
started.
about
I was like,
that.
son of a. I hate the way my brain works though, because as soon as you said voices carry, the song started playing in my head.
Yeah, I know.
Ugh.
Sorry. which actually leads to one of my favorite things to do during the summer, but weirdly enough, not the voice is scary, but the fact that I like going okay, so I guess we're getting into it.
I mean, you already opened the can of worms.
Yeah, so we're talking about our favorite things to do during summer because it is not the most preferred season. And we were all conditioned to believe summer was the greatest be all and end all season of all time simply because there was no school. But as you grow older,
Summer
summer
sucks. Oh wait,
sucks.
did I say
It's
that
been
out
so
loud? My bad.
so yeah, one of the things that I really enjoy doing though during summer, which is kind of weird because it's still hot out there, and this obviously I used to do when I was living in a larger city. I loved going to outdoor concerts, and they didn't have to be like big names or anything like that. Just if even if it's a local band, as long as it was outside, it was so freaking cool. Taking a towel or beach blanket or something or your own little lawn chair or whatever and having your own sodas or little ice chest and you sit there and you just enjoy somebody performing live, fun music or whatever. I think the last time that I went to one, it was a local jazz band that decided impromptu, and they just did it, they just put it on Facebook. If anybody wants to show up, we're going to be like doing this, blah 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 blah, and all that stuff. And so we went. I dragged my daughter with me, and she was like, "I'm not gonna enjoy this." And by the end of the night, it's like, when are they gonna play again? Because she had so much fun just sitting out there and enjoying the music. And I've done this. I used to do it like 2 or 3 times every summer, and I would sometimes I went by myself because I couldn't find anybody to go with. My husband didn't want to go. My kids didn't want to go. Whatever. My sister was like too busy, and I would just go by myself. I was like, I would like the ambiance of being outside, enjoying music, and seeing just dusk turn into evening, turn into night. It was just really cool to do that. And I think one of my favorite ones, who was it that? Oh, it was um, Weird Al was an outdoor concert. That was great. That was probably the biggest name that I saw outdoor concert, and it was small because he was just starting out. He had just done Ricky, so that was pretty cool. Back in the 80s. So
Nice.
that's something that I really do miss because I can't do it where I live. If I want to go to and I was in Tyler yesterday, and they were setting up for an outdoor concert at the park. And I just looked at it longingly, and I was about to ask, and he said no. And I was like, okay, because it was that night, but we had to be back.
And you're like, but why?
Yeah, and I admittedly there are some places where it can be very uncomfortable because it's kind of hot or whatever. Um, you do need to dress appropriately. You do need to have a bunch of mosquito repellent on, admittedly, living in Texas. But it was still so much fun just relaxing, listening to music. And sometimes, people would start singing along with, whoever was playing. There was a cover band that was doing a cover band for the outfield one year. And that was a lot of fun because I knew all the songs. I knew all the songs. So I was belting them out, and there was this couple next to me doing the same thing, and we were just having so much fun. But, that's something I do miss. But that is one of my favorite outdoor activities for summer, just going to outdoor concerts. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend.
Yeah, I used to do that. My biggest thing that I'm trying to get back to doing again, but this summer has been hard because I wound up getting sick right after I finally got to do something I really love to do because I love to go to the lake. We had a kid's birthday party at one of the lakes, so I
Oh,
was
yeah.
there all day, and then I was sick for like 6 weeks after that. I'm still to the point now where I'm just now starting to feel a little bit better. And then every once in a while, it's still like, haha, still here. But yeah, my doctors are like, you're not contagious anymore. We don't know what the hell's going on. Just keep taking your allergy pills. I'm like, you suck. But that's because I don't want them. I don't want them to give. I don't like shots. And they're like, we want to put you on the allergy shots. I was like, no, I don't care. I don't care. I'd
Oh
rather just take it.
no. No, no.
Because
Ever
ever since everything that came out with COVID, I avoid shots like the plague anymore because they're making everything freaking mRNA now.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, and I'm kind of very leery about that. So, and one of the things that a lot of people don't know, my husband has extensive um, research background on this whole thing, which is why he was very adamant about the COVID vaccine schedule, and that was a hard no. And luckily for him, he was he had already decided to retire and everything, so it didn't really affect him, but it affected a lot of people in the military and a lot of people in you know that they were like, what, why can't this be my body, my choice? you know so
Yeah,
um
it's funny how that's always my body, my choice till it's something else, and they're like, yeah, not this one.
yeah, I know, it was that was anyway. But yeah, I'm very leery. I have actually spoken to my doctor about the whole flu shot situation, and I told her under no circumstances am I ever going to take the flu shot. And she asked me why not. And I said, because I've never taken it. She's like, you're serious? And I said, I'm deadly serious. I've never had a flu shot. And I have had the flu maybe 3 times in my life. So I have a good record. I have a good record. Let's keep it up. But anyway, moving back to our conversation, which I always like,
Train of thought, derail, track one.
I know, totally all the time. But it's kind of funny because a lot of people, the last time that I went to a concert, that jazz concert with my daughter, there were a lot of people that were there masked. I was not. And a lot of people were looking at me funny. But I did notice that several people decided to take off their masks when they saw me without one. Because it was by then it wasn't mandatory, so but people were still afraid. And it's funny, people are still afraid. But anyway, moving on. So,
It's because we're all sheep and lemmings.
I know yeah. I know you said you like going to the lake.
Dude, I used to live in the water during the summer. That was
Really?
that was my whole thing when we were kids. Because my dad, when we lived in the country, would always take us to the lake. And then when we weren't living in the country, he lived in an apartment complex, so we always had access to a pool. Anytime the pool was open, I was there. I swam all the time. I love to swim. I still prefer, honestly, being in the water, and that's part of the reason why that's why I didn't do my show that night, because every time I was ready to get out, I was like, you know what? I haven't been swimming in like 2 or 3 years at this point. I'm just going to keep enjoying time in the water. And then
Dang.
before I knew it, it was like 8 o'clock, and I'm like, uh-oh.
So you're a water baby.
Oh, dude, I seriously was. It's funny because my cousin's husband saw a picture of me. I was probably 14, 15 years old, and we didn't meet until I was in my 30s, and by then I was more round than anything. Still stout because that's when I was still chasing people for a living, but I started to be more round. And he saw a picture of me, and I was like maybe 14, 15 years old, and he's like, "Holy shit, you used to be ripped." I'm like, "Yeah, I spent every summer in the pool." And that was the middle of summer. So yeah, I love the water. We actually, for the longest time, we had a pool in our house until I got to the point where I couldn't keep up with it, and then the now ex-wife didn't really like keeping up with it either, and I wasn't paying somebody $800 a month to come clean my pool. So, nope, wasn't doing it. I
Well,
grew up
that's
poor, so it's kind of hard for me to pay for things like that. When everybody's like, "Why don't you
yeah,
pay somebody
yeah.
to come do your yard work or do this or do that?" And I'm like, I grew up having to eat government cheese. It's hard for me to just spend money on things like that when I have people around here that should be able to do it, even if I can't. So yeah, but I am learning my lesson. Once I get rid of the once former and again on and off again roommate who is back in the hospital again, by the way, I am hiring a housekeeper for a while because it's just I'm done. I want somebody else to clean my house for a while.
Well, I guess I totally understand that because I've never had a housekeeper. No, I'll take that back. My German friend needed a job. She had 3 daughters. Her husband had just left her, and her job, you know, did could not support the 3 girls and herself. Why? She was making 900 euro a month, and 450 of it had to go to healthcare tax. So, for those of you who think that socialism gives you free medicine, you still have to pay the healthcare tax. You have to pay that insurance. It's mandatory. Okay, so because of that, she was barely making ends meet, and I told her, you know what, I would love it if you would help me clean my house, and she was like, I would totally do that. How often do you want me to come? And I said, you know, how much do you, how much do you want? And she just wanted to make enough that she could support herself and her girls. So I was paying her 300 euro a month, and you know, that went much farther. And she was like, I know you're doing this because you guys are just being kind, because my house was never a mess. But it would make her feel good to come in, and she would do the bathrooms, and she would sweep, she would mop. There's no rugs, people. This is a German house made out of concrete. And she would do the windows, she would air out all of the comforters like the Germans do. I'm like, you don't know, she would put them outside in the window hanging out to air out, and I'm like, it's a comforter, not a duvet, but whatever, made her feel good. Um but that was the only time that and she understood that this was just a facade. This was just to save face so that she could have a job until she could find something that would pay better than what the job that she currently had. And she finally did. She was a bus driver, which allowed her to, like she said, stop taking my good charity. And I was like, okay. And admittedly, 300 euro a month for that was is pretty excessive. I don't know what housekeeping goes for nowadays, but my sister pays $200 a week for hers, which I thought was like, wow. But um, she comes in twice a week, and then every other Sunday. So whatever.
Well, for mine, what I'm going to do is just a few times hire one of those places is like, for first time we'll do this for a couple hours for this much, because I don't need or want a permanent housekeeper, but I do want to get some things back in order. And I had still even been resisting that idea until I saw your former podcast partner blowtorching about how his housekeeper was jamming out to some tunes, and I'm like, well, if fucking Mickey can have one, damn it, so can I.
No, and it depends on the where you find your housekeeping or whatever. I mean, there's some housekeeping businesses that will charge a flat fee, others charge by the hour, some charge by the job, whatever. So it depends on what you're looking for. I wouldn't even know if I could find one to come to my house. It's so remote. It is so remote.
It wouldn't matter,
So
because if you hired one, you'd be cleaning the other part of the house while they were working in another room. You'd be
yeah,
like,
because
I
I
can't.
feel bad. I would, and this is horrible of me. I feel bad having a housekeeper seeing a dirty house. So I would like this is and my friend would be like, you have to let me clean your house. You cannot clean your house. Okay, fine, whatever. But
one of the because I keep forgetting I actually have someone's number. I'm gonna text him one of these days and ask him if someone we both know puts the doorknobs in the dishwasher or not. Because I'm willing to bet. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I do not. I do not. I'm serious. My house. My husband will tell you that I'm not the best housekeeper. I'm not. It's just that because they're working in my house, that I have to keep busy, and I have found this newfound love of organizing all of my things so that I can find them, which drives him crazy because he can't find anything now. So he has to ask me. So what do? I made signs for the utility room, for the cabinetry there, and I put these signs on the doors saying explicitly what was behind each door so that he doesn't have to keep like looking and looking and looking. He'll know that at least it's on this shelf so he can look on this shelf. I went through, this was several months ago. I kept finding packages of batteries everywhere. Now, my husband uses batteries for his controllers. So we always have double A's on hand. But we need triple A's for other things. We need the 9 volt, the volt ones, the 9 volt for the smoke alarms. You're gonna need the C's for the big flashlight, blah 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 blah, whatever, right? They were everywhere. So I went, I ordered from Amazon a little container that has these specific holes for these batteries. And I went through it, I organized all of them, and he's like, "Are you OCD?" I said, "No, I just got tired of not having them in one location." They were everywhere in the house, y'all. And when I say everywhere, he had some on his desk. There were some on the back desk. There were some next to the computer. There were some next to the computer that does not turn on anymore. Okay, but he refuses to give it up because it was a massive computer. There were some next to the bookshelf. There were some on his nightstand. There were some on my nightstand that I don't know what they were doing there. There were some in the kitchen. There were some in the kitchen drawers. It was just everywhere. So I just decided to put them all in one place. And now everybody can find the damn batteries. We're not buying as many batteries as we were buying before.
Well, now you can tell your husband that one of your work husbands asked the same question and kept playing the monk theme. So
I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of OCD that's starting to come out. I have no idea. All I know is that I've this has incentivized me to organize my house because I cannot stay still while people are working in it. So my daughter suggested that the next room to be renovated should be the kitchen. And I was like, absolutely not. I need the kitchen. It's the only safety valve I have. But she just felt I should renovate another room so that there would be workers there and I would be more incentivized to keep up with this because she is OCD. She does have a lot of OCD issues. Um, but she's in therapy for that. I'm not.
just because you have not been diagnosed. Oh, wait.
Well, no, my girlfriend actually, I asked her, I said, I need your help. Um, as you know, it was really tough to go to behavioral medicine because this would reflect on my husband. So my girlfriend said she would do it under the table, you know. And so I would call her up and I would tell her, what was going on with me. And she
Giggity,
actually
giggity. Giggity, giggity.
she actually told me that I do have some issues with anxiety, but what really was interesting is that she told me that noises tend to set me off in certain ways and that I needed to be careful with noises. And I was like, "What? That's not true." I thought she was making that up. And sure enough, I am a little neurospicy when it comes to noises. So who knew? She did. But that's pretty much all she found. She didn't find any serious OCD issues. She didn't find any other stressors. So that was kind of cool. A relief.
She was probably afraid if she said you were OCD, you were going to break out your machete. So,
No, I like her. She's cool. Her
uh
she's got two twin daughters and a son, and
yeah,
her
what Steven
twin
just did.
and it's funny because she told him, it's like, "Oh, of all the universities I don't want you to attend is UT. I don't want you going to UT. That is a mess, blah, 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 blah," because she got her doctorate there. And she's like, blah, blah, blah. And what happens? All 3 of them go to UT.
Steven, I'm willing to take that a step further. Prepping is socially acceptable hoarding. That's all that is. All that is.
Listen, my hoarding, I can control my as a matter of fact, I'm working on it. Because,
That's what every
as
hoarder
y'all
says.
I know, as y'all know, I have furniture that I continuously flip and use, and then I will donate. And it's something that brings me joy. And I am now in the process of arranging with my church to actually donate the pieces that I have flipped so that they can either auction them off or have a raffle. And bring money to the church, which, everybody wins. I get to play around with all my toxic chemicals and, deadly, uh, tools and stuff like that. And they get the benefit of having my furniture that they can auction off and get money for. So it's a cool idea. But anyway,
Yeah. Anyway,
that is
so
something
anyway,
that I do like doing during the summer, though. No
yeah,
matter how hot it is outside, I want to be working on a piece of furniture outside. And as soon as I'm done with one piece, I'll take a day break, 1 day break. And then the following day after that, I will start with another. And that keeps me very happy. Last summer, I couldn't do it, obviously, due to my dad. But this summer, so far I've done like four since they
yeah.
got here.
Honestly, Al just brought up something in the chat that I didn't really consider as like a summer pastime, but it is like one of my favorite things to do is work on electronics. And it's funny because now that I'm upgrading all the electronic equipment, like I got my new laptop, I've got the new
Oh
station
yeah.
desktop that I'll be setting up over the weekend. So yeah, I've been considering actually putting a server in my house so that way I can get to everything station related, no matter which computer I'm on. So that way I can work from my bedroom, I can work from my office. It doesn't really matter, especially if I'm just producing and don't have to talk, because that's because
I
I
yeah,
tested.
it's
Yeah, I tested
it's
it last night
angry.
because the new laptop actually has more memory on it than even my new desktop's gonna. Because I couldn't find a 32 gig desktop anywhere. I tried.
No, and I totally get it. That whole tinkering vibe. It's like for some reason during the summer, it's just it's on. You got to tinker with something. Like for me, it's the furniture. Um, and the cooking. I have ratcheted up my cooking. I've decided, you know what? I have all of my pots and pans. I need to start putting them on rotation. So, and that's actually what has incentivized me to cook one of my pinned recipes once a week is using my pots and pans. They're not just for decoration, but it's like, you know, all of my kids have a hope chest, and it's not necessarily just a chest. They do have their own chest, but they have their own set of china, their own set of crystal, their own set of pots and pans. They have an Amish quilt. They have table linens. They have all sorts of stuff for the kitchen, and of course, several pieces of furniture that I have redone for them that I'm waiting for them to move back so that they can get it. My daughter is still she's got a dining room set that she's coming up to pick up hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So, and this is something that I really thought was a cool idea to do when I started having children was I would love to have that hope chest that I can give to my kids, stuff that they can take with them when they move out. Well, they all moved out, but the two of them went into the military and couldn't take any of that stuff. And then the other one didn't move out until like just a couple of years ago. So I don't know. But I have a lot of pots and pans and I like using them, but each one has its own. like the differences in sizes and shapes and whatever, more conducive to this or that. Um, so that's another thing that I've enjoyed doing during the summer is finding a recipe and just going through and I want the recipe to be not so simple. I wanted to test my ability, to do all that stuff. And all of this started because of Julia Child. That whole recipe thing started because of Julia Child. So blame her.
Uh huh. Actually, I like your recipe posts. I've actually enjoyed those when I see you
Some
do
of
them.
them, most of them have been pretty good. The only one that I can honestly say was iffy on, it was still edible, thankfully. It was the Hungarian goulash. And I'm like, I went through specifically the way the recipe called for it, and I'm like, I gotta change this. The pieces of meat are just too big. The pieces of the carrots are too big. The amount of paprika was too much, which as a paprika lover, that kind of blew my mind. But it overwhelmed everything else in the dish. So, um, but I tell people, this is how I tweaked it, you do your own thing. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And some of the recipes are not difficult at all. This I will say the spanakopita was pretty freaking hard because I had to work quickly and the phyllo dough was not happy with me. But that's
Oh,
fun.
dude, Philo and I do not get along.
I know. However, it was a big hit and I even took some to my friend at the antique store, and she was like, "I need this recipe," and I said, "It's right here." And I said it. I just texted it to her right then and there, and she was like, "This is fantastic. I'm going shopping." And then she sends me the message like 2 days later saying, "I made it, and everybody ate it, and there is no leftovers." And she's always complaining that her kids will not, and her kids are older. They're in high school, but she was always complaining that, this is okay. It's fine. Like, can we have hamburgers? Can we grill outside today? Blah, 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 that kind of thing. And now they ate something fancy and they're like, oh, maybe there's something to this fancy stuff.
Yeah. I will say this. Not oddly enough, this was one of the things I was going to bring up. This kind of one of my new favorite summer pastimes. I am slowly learning how to smoke meat, and it's kind of something
Ooh.
I usually do. Kind of more is kind of as summer is gearing up to summer, and then more towards as it starts winding down because it's hot. But I have enjoyed learning how to smoke meat. I will say this, it's different than any other type of cooking that I've ever done. I usually pick up cooking really quick. Smoking has been kicking my ass. I can't get it right. There's times that I'll have like the smoke flavor and everything's just right. The bark looks good, and then I'll cut in the middle of it and it's still raw. And I'm like, what did I do wrong this time? And then there's other times where it'll look like it's underdone and then it's shoe leather. So yeah, I'm still learning, but it's so yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. There's a trick to it. I have a smoker, and I'll be honest, I have never used it. It is always used by somebody who is visiting, never me. I didn't even buy it. It was a friend of mine who he and his family were coming to visit us from Michigan, and they decided to take the train because the kids had never been on a train. So they took the sleeper cars and it was really cool for them and everything. And I went, picked them up, brought them home, and I took them everywhere and everything. And he said, I want to smoke a pork shoulder for you because he is really big into barbecuing. And I said, I don't even have a barbecue outside. Why? Because my husband could never decide on a barbecue to buy. He kept waffling back and forth. He never, to this day, we don't have one. But that's for another day. So he went out as a thank you and bought a smoker. for the express purpose of smoking the pork shoulder. I said the least I can do is buy the damn pork shoulder. So I went and bought one, and I bought all the stuff that he wanted to put on it or whatever. And he did, and it was fantastic. Again, visitors have seen it. It's like, hey, can we smoke something? I said, as long as you're doing it, sure, knock yourself out. Excuse me. Several of my Twitter friends have done so. But me, myself, never. I've never actually smoked anything in that smoker. And I feel bad. but Maybe I should learn it. I don't know. Because I do enjoy cooking outside during the summer. Even though it's hot outside, there is nothing for me more fun than actual charcoal barbecue. And not the propane tank, not gas, doing the charcoal briquettes. It just This is what we did in Puerto Rico. Growing up, my every single one of my uncles had a little hibachi. Always. They always had a little hibachi. And um everybody had the bag of coals, and everybody had the lighter fluid, and and that was the communal thing. They would light that up. The men would stand around drinking their rum and coke or whatever, or beer, whatever. The women were over here doing something else, probably the side dishes. I don't even remember, but the kids were always running around, you know, and it was always who can get closer to the hibachi without getting screamed at.
Nice.
But I remember that, and it's such a fun memory for me that I love doing that during the summer, especially not during the day, at night, where you can see the glowing of the coals as you're cooking your whatever on the little grill or whatnot. And I miss that. And I have expressed my desire for having a little hibachi and doing all that. And so what happens? We start looking at them, but he can't decide. So yeah, I'm probably gonna go out and get one and bring it home. And he's like, "This isn't really what I was looking at. I was looking for something more like, no, this is what we're having. I'm done. I'm done waiting. I've waited years for something." But honestly, we have a little fire ring, and sometimes we'll actually just put wood in there, and there's a little tripod where we can hang a grill, you know, um, and cook there, and we've done that. So, and I think that's why he's like, "No, we can do that instead of buying an entire Blackstone or whatever." And I'm like, "I want the Blackstone. The Blackstone looks cool. It's really neat." But no. Anyway, but yeah, I know everybody likes to do barbecue, but for me, at this hour of the evening when the sun has gone down, that's when I like to do the barbecue, because that's reminiscent of when I was little, and that's when my uncles and my dad, that's when they would strike up the barbecue, and you could see the hot coals. And it was just I don't know, there was a certain magic to it, I guess. I don't know. Perhaps it's me.
Oh no, 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 no! You're describing one of my favorite things about cooking outside. It's yeah, that. So the thing about it is, I used to love when everybody else cooked outside. Once I got wobbly, cooking outside kind of scared me. I had to get used to it again. Because I would always be like, "What happens if I lose control right as I'm moving towards the fire?" That would be bad. But yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, that would be
yeah.
bad.
So yeah, it took me a while to learn how to do it now that I'm wobbly, but I'm enjoying it again. My last grill isn't any good anymore. That's something else I've been looking at. I'm kind of having the same problem as your husband now, though. I can't decide which one I want.
There are a lot. I know there are a lot of different styles. There are a lot of different options. If you want gas, if you want, there's even electric. There's there's gas. There's the conventional, charcoal. There's wood pellet. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do, and I get why there's an indecision. But his indecision isn't on what kind, but also what style. So he keeps looking at the Blackstone, but then here's the Weber, but then over here is the this, and this one has this, and this one has that. And I'm like, I don't want the bling. I just want the surface where I can cook outside. That's it. I'm not picky, but he's very picky. So I'm still waiting.
Yeah, for me, it's because it's funny because I used to, so when my dad was the age that I am now, which was over 20 years ago at this point, I made fun of him because that's when he started complaining that he couldn't eat charcoal grilled stuff anymore because it started tearing up his stomach. And I was still in my 30s, so I'd still had an iron stomach back then. So I'm like, you're old. Now I'm in my 50s, and the last time I ate a charcoal hot dog, I thought I was going to die the next day. So that's what I get for making fun of my dad. So yeah, I am officially now Hank Hill. I only want propane and propane accessories because yeah,
No, there's a
smoking doesn't seem to do it as bad as the charcoal does. But I don't
no,
know
no.
why.
My smoker is actually electric, and so we use the wood pellets in it, and the apple wood or hickory or mesquite or whatever the hell you want to throw in there. We have our own hickory out here, so we never buy the hickory stuff. I just keep hickory, you know, and then we just cut it up and put it in there. But like I said, I really should learn how to use the damn thing. My friend actually asked me, "Do y'all still have the smoker?" I was like, "Oh yeah." "How often do you use it?" "I don't." But all of my friends tend to do so. He's like, "As long as it's getting some use." So, but hopefully they'll be visiting. It's really weird. Their kids are their youngest is about to graduate college, and I'm like, "Has it been that long since you guys came to visit?" Because he was only 11 at the time. Yikes. Anyway, but let's see. What else do I like doing in the summer? Oh, I like to go to the state parks and go hiking. I really enjoy that. And I know it's not for everybody. Walking in a direction that you don't know where you're going to, or for whatever reason, I get it. Some people are like, yeah, that's not for me. But for me, hiking is just, it clears the mind. You're just walking. You're not there's it's all about the journey, not the destination. And I really enjoy that. And I tried doing it during the springtime, but I don't like it as much. I like it when it's warmer and when everything is super green and has bloomed, and there's this warmth that comes from the ground itself. um and I guess it's kind of like there's an ecosystem vibe, like a terrarium vibe going on when you're walking through these areas. Excuse me. So going on hikes, I really enjoy that during the summer. The camping I prefer during the spring. So I really can't say that I like the camping during the summer, but the hiking, yeah.
Yeah, I used to love hiking. It's not something I can really do anymore. I'm trying to get back to that though. That was actually kind of my plan for this summer before I realized it was going to be don't go outside or you're going to be sitting on the surface of the sun hot for a good portion of the summer. Because
That's true.
yeah, but that's
But
the other thing is now that I'm older, he never used to bother me. But and I think I came really close to heat stroke once when I was working during the summer and I was working security for a bunch of soccer fields and they wanted us in our class A uniforms. And me like a dumbass, our class A uniforms were black. So I'm out in 100-degree heat in black dress shirt, black dress pants, bulletproof vest, the whole 9 yards on, and after 3 hours I'm just like dying. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I came really close to I know I had at least heat exhaustion. I don't know if I was quite the heat stroke yet, but ever since then, heat and I don't get along anymore. I can't get too hot and I can't get too cold. I've become Goldilocks, and it's annoying because shit like that never used to bother me. It's
No,
annoying 'cause that never used to bother me.
I'm cold natured all the time. I'm not even joking. I wear the long socks and sweatpants in the house. And it's 78. I'm not even joking. It's 78 degrees in my house and it's still too cold for me. Work that out. I can't. I can't make it work in my head, but it's true. However,
Yeah. The
but like,
irony is for me, I don't usually get too cold until nighttime because, like, during the day, which, we were talking about this a little bit off air, my air conditioner is old, so it doesn't do very well. So I have, because during the day, I like it as cold as possible. So I have a window unit in my room. And I think that's part of the reason why being in my office now has made it so much more just terrible. Because during the day, my window unit is set at like 65. I have to turn it up to like 72 when I go to bed, though, because that's another reason why I got so damn sick. I was enjoying the cold so much that I kept falling asleep with it set on 65, and then I would start snoring and get like fucking
oof.
ice cubes in my lungs from breathing in the cold air. So yeah, I had to start weaning myself off and turning it up before I go to sleep. I don't know. I'm just weird. I'm
No,
embracing my weirdness.
no, I totally get it. I
No,
mean,
you
like
don't.
I said, I you know, would I okay, so you're a water baby, you love being in the water, swimming and all that stuff. No. I can't. Unless I'm by myself and the pool is private, then I'll get into the pool. But I cannot be in public. So I enjoy being by the water. I enjoy being, you know, that's fine. But, like a lot of people are like, "Oh, aren't you gonna get in?" No, absolutely not. I refuse to. I used to, my kids would love to go to Schlitterbahn, and I'm like, "Okay, but we're gonna get shots first." Because I'm just not dealing with you getting sick on account of you going there. And they were like,
Nice.
"Mom, it's not bad, blah blah blah." I said, "No, there's a lot of people there, which means one or two of them will be sick with something." And sure enough, one of my daughters went to Schlitterbahn for a school function, blah blah blah, and she came down with something. And I was like, and she was like, "Please don't say I told you so. I can't take it. I can't take it." And I said, "I'm just gonna take care of you, honey. That's okay, blah blah blah." But for me, I never liked water parks because they just seem like petri dishes to me. But going to a swimming pool, that's that's okay. That's fine. I'm too shy. I I will wear a bathing suit, but I have to have a cover up on it, and I will not get in the water. So you'll never see the bathing suit anyway, which is why I seldom wear a bathing suit. I just wear shorts and a
Nice.
t-shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. I'm not gonna play the monk theme again, but I almost played the monk theme again. Because you were
No,
like,
I'm
I can't go swimming unless it's just me.
no, I'm too shy. I don't want people looking at me in a bathing suit because it, I can't. I know this sounds weird, but when we were, when you're in elementary school or rather middle school or whatever, junior high, you have to take swimming lessons for PE. And I was there taking, and my bathing suit was very modest because that's what my mom bought me. And one of the girls made fun of me. And she made fun of me not because of my bathing suit, but I looked because of the way I looked in the bathing suit. So I always been very shy about being out in a bathing suit. Now, I came to find out later that she didn't like me in the bathing suit because I looked better than she did. She was a ballerina. Go figure. And that was her issue. And this came from one of her friends. And they said, I'm sorry that she said that, but the truth is she actually said that she didn't like you in that bathing suit because you looked better than she did. And I was like, well, that's nice to know, but the damage had already been done. And that has plagued me for years. That's not to say I haven't been out in public in a bathing suit in a public beach or in a public swimming pool or anything like that. We used to go to South by the Island all the time, and I was fine and everything. But as I grew older, I my body changed because I had children or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing
Yeah,
that.
I've seen your picture. Shush. I look like a
I'm just
fucking
not
Mr.
doing that.
Potato Head. I look like Mr. Potato Head, and you're over here complaining. Whatever, whatever. No, but no, seriously. Okay, so so remember how you put that song in my head earlier? With the way
Yes,
you keep emphasizing the word public, I have the entire Ron White bit running through my head now.
in public.
I was not drunk in public. You threw me into public.
I was drunk in the bar. But that was pretty funny. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, I do enjoy going to waterways during the summer. Don't get me wrong. I literally live on right next to a lake, and it's awesome. One of my favorite things to do in the summer. I will get up, I'll get my coffee, and I will sit outside as the sun rises. It's nice, it's cool, it's quiet, nobody's bothering me yet. I haven't started with my Twitter shit posting. You know, it's nice. And I will just sit there and just look at the wonders of the world as the sun comes up. And it's wonderful just to do that. I can only do it in the summer, early fall, because once October comes around, it's actually too cold for me to be out there in my pajamas. So, and the thing is, I'll put on a robe, but it's too hot for the robe. So I'm stuck. I can't find the happy medium. Um, but during the summer, that is one of my favorite things to do. It's quiet. I'm by myself. Nobody's bothering me. It's great. It's awesome. I highly recommend that. Everybody take time. And you would be surprised because even though summer is super, super hot and it's the suckiest of all seasons, followed by winter, um, taking time for yourself, half an hour to an hour, just being alone, away from the phone, being outside resets you like you would not believe. I always thought that that was hokey. I never put any faith in that or anything until I started doing it. And it has improved my well-being incredibly so. And I'm not saying that, this is not to say, oh, it helps me to lose weight or blah blah. No. I'm just saying that my mental state has improved. I have found a calmer sense of being by taking time to just being still and away from the internet, just being outside, just listening, just looking, not thinking about anything in particular. I know some people cannot stop thinking, and I get that. I'm proud to say that my brain does not think when it doesn't want to.
Yeah, I had that problem a lot, especially after the divorce. I'm finally getting to the point where I can sit somewhere and it be quiet and I'm not losing my mind. It's funny because when I first started going, because I did actually through work get some therapy sessions until I realized most of the stuff that she was telling me was the same stuff I tell everybody else when they come to me for advice, and I wasn't going to keep paying for it when my insurance ran out. But she did say something that was interesting that I never thought of, because she said that it would, with as long as we were together, it was probably going to take about 3 months for every year that we were together until I started feeling somewhat normal again. That's exactly where I am right now. And this is probably the closest to myself I felt in a long time, including not having to have something constantly going on in the bedroom so I can sleep. I noticed the last couple nights I've been waking up and the TV is like waking up in the morning and the TV's been off and quiet. And I'm like used to that. Would the second it shut up, I would wake up and turn it back on because my brain would just start screaming at me. So that's been kind of nice the last few nights. So yeah, I am one of those people where normally my brain does not ever shut up.
You know,
It's,
I
it's
I
annoying.
know a lot of people like that. A lot of my Twitter friends are like that. It's just I don't know what it is about me that I can honestly shut my thinking patterns down. And I always thought that that was strange and rather indicative of a lack of intelligence. But apparently not. Apparently, it's just some people have the gift to do that, other people do not. It's just there's no difference. It doesn't affect your intelligence at all. I just always thought that maybe I was dumb simply because I could do that. And my girlfriend told me, no, actually, you're one of the rare people that can do that. It's not a question of intelligence, it's just an ability. I'm like, okay. But, and yeah, I totally get it, Al. I have a lot of friends online and it sometimes it's rough, but if they have your phone number, they can text you just check if you're okay. And you can always say, hey, I'm taking a break from social media, and we'll understand. So um and you were missed. I'll admit that, but yeah, sometimes, and it's really weird because I'll take a break for like half the day. I will not be on. I'll be doing something or whatever. I come back and there's like 15 messages asking me if I'm okay. And I'm like, yes, I have a life. That's all. So, especially in some of the groups, I'll say, I'm off to do something. Bye. And then it'll be okay. But if I don't announce what I'm doing, people get concerned. And I appreciate that a lot. I do, because it tells me that people are thoughtful and worried that there may be something wrong. Um, but no, it's just me working on a table somewhere or on a credenza or a set of drawers. Oh, that's next, by the way. I have a tall boy that I need to do. Tudunch.
I didn't get there in time, but I was gonna.
You were going to, I know. Let's see. What other stuff do I like doing? I think one of my favorite things is going on a road trip, but the way I do my road trips are just 1-day trips. And the
Yeah,
reason I got used to doing that was that I had a pet to come home to that I had to let out and everything. So, but road tripping is actually a really cool idea to do during the summer.
yeah. I usually at least once a month take the kids out and we try a new barbecue spot or something, so I can compare how their smoked meats taste to mine, so I can figure out what I need to do better.
I okay. Now, usually what we used to do was we had the map of Texas, but it got to the point that we had to actually section the map of Texas into quarters, or rather thirds. And so now that we live up here in East Texas, um, we will throw a dart at that particular area of Texas, and that's where we will go for the day. And sometimes it's in the middle of nowhere, so it's got to be the closest little town to it. And no lie, one time the town had 209 people. It had a post office, it had like 5 houses and a grocery store, a little like a drive-in grocery store. So we went and we hung out at the grocery store and we asked questions and everything. And they said, well, we never get anybody to come here and blah, blah, blah. And so they told me all about the area. And they went on and on and on about some kind of soap opera that was happening with one of the houses down the road. And oh, and how they had found a dead body on the railroad tracks. And all I could think about was, is this where Stand By Me was filmed? Because that's what popped into my head was the movie. And that was probably the oddest road trip that I ever took. But most of the time, we land near a fairly sized town and we'll partake of whatever they, you know, favorite mom and pop dining place or whatever and hang out for a bit, tour the place, walk around the plaza, take pictures of, whatever, and then, head on home. But that's all, like I said, we try to limit it because gas can be expensive, obviously. And if you do have pets to come home to, that's another consideration that you need to give to. And I want to sleep in my bed. I don't like sleeping in hotel rooms unless I'm by myself. I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds weird, but that's the way I am too.
I mean, we've just come to expect that weird is kind of how you roll.
No, it's just usually the beds are very firm, and I cannot sleep on a firm bed. And so I normally sleep on the couch. There's always a little couch, because I will always book a suite for that express purpose. It's a little pricier, but if you use, Trivago or whatever, you can get a pretty good deal. I'll admit that. And I will test the bed, and if it's too firm, then I'll sleep on the couch. If my husband's with me, he gets upset if I don't sleep in the bed. So I will sleep in the bed and be uncomfortable all night long and then be cranky in the morning, and then he doesn't understand. So rather than avoid all the drama, I would sleep on the couch. But no, he's like, it makes him feel bad if I do that. And I'm like, it's not about you, it's about me.
Yeah, except most of the time when women say that, that's a lie. So we don't know what to do or say. Just point that out. Every time I've ever been told it's not you, it's me, it's been a lie. So I mean, it's not usually for such innocuous things as I can't sleep in the bed because it hurts my back. Because yeah, that was actually kind of the opposite for me and my now ex-wife for quite some time. For the longest time, I had to fall asleep in my recliner before I could move to the bed. And she was always one of those people, especially in the wintertime. Dude,
Mhm.
like the second the sun went down, she's wanting to go to bed. I'm like, dude, it's like 5:15. I'm tired. The sun's down. I want to go to bed. Okay, well, I'll see you probably about midnight or so if I'm lucky. So she always got mad because I would be like up half the night, and I'm like, dude, you knew I worked nights for a reason when we met. I don't sleep during the night. I never really have, and as we stayed together longer, that became more and more of a problem.
I had, it's really weird that you bring that up because I used to be able to, I'd be in bed before 10 and I would sleep all the way clear through 7 o'clock in the morning and no problem. But when my husband was serving in the Sinai, and then when he was in DC, I couldn't sleep because he wasn't home. And I would literally exhaust myself until midnight. And then when I heard the train whistle, that's when I would fall asleep. To this day, I stay up until midnight. Even though he's retired, he's here, nothing going on, or whatever, I still stay up. I have not been able to condition myself to go to sleep around 10 the way I used to. And um, I can't seem to change it. And it has proven very, very difficult because I want to sleep. I want to sleep. But I can't. I can't fall asleep until around midnight. And sometimes I'll go to bed and I'll lay there for an additional hour waiting for sleep to claim me. And but no. And then, and some people say, well, why don't you just turn the light on and read? I could do that. But one of the things that a lot of behavioral doctors tell you is don't do any activity in bed that doesn't belong in bed. Don't even play it. Don't even play it.
Fine.
In other words, don't watch TV, don't read, don't do crossword puzzles, anything of that kind, because your body then thinks that you should read when you're in bed. So that's why I just lay there waiting for sleep to come instead of. However, there are nights that I suffer from insomnia, and I'll get up and I'll go to the den and turn on the light and read.
You know what I
And
discovered?
Mhm.
Well, first of all, you just killed all my joy because you wouldn't let me hit the button. There. But also, you know something else I discovered though? Reading shit like that actually stressed me out more because I could be doing, but if they say if I do that, then I won't be able to sleep. And I'm like, I already can sleep. What difference does it make?
Yeah, if you're not able to sleep, then go ahead and do it.
But yeah, the one thing I was gonna say, and I don't know if you've tried this or not yet, because I know you won't do the other thing that works for me, because that's one of the reasons why I got my medical card, because it helps relax me so I can sleep.
Yeah.
But something that works almost as good for when because I have been trying to cut back on the medical stuff a little bit more now that I'm not hurting as much. Is melatonin. I take that a lot at night when I'm ready to go to sleep, and that actually seems to help me. So I don't know if you've tried that or thought about it.
I've tried melatonin, and here's the thing. I'm a super lightweight. Everybody knows this. This is not a secret. I am very lightweight when it comes to medication. Um, so I got some melatonin, and it said to take 2 tablets or 2 capsules, whatever it was. Now, I've read the instructions, and for my age group, for my size, whatever, it said 2 capsules. So I took them. I was jittery. I was like, I wanted to crawl out of my skin. I was tossing, I was turning, I was, I couldn't, and then finally I collapsed and I went to sleep. So the following morning, my daughter asked me how I slept, and I said, oh, it was weird. I took the melatonin, but I was like, I wanted to crawl out of my skin. I don't know what's going on, and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And she's like, how much did you take? And I said, 2 capsules. That's what it says. And she looks at me, Mom, you're the one that tells me you need to cut all your medicine in half because you're such a lightweight. And I was like, oh, right. I didn't think about that. And so the following night, I just took one, and that relaxed me enough that it helped me to sleep. But if I have about of insomnia, melatonin's not gonna even touch it. I just can't. I can't sleep, and I will stay up. The last time that I had insomnia, I stayed up throughout the whole night, and I was not tired during the day, the following day. I was fine. It was almost as if I just did not need sleep. I wasn't tired. I actually ended up cross stitching. I read my book for our podcast. I finished a crossword puzzle that I found, and then I watched Highway Patrol on
Okay,
TV. It was late night,
nice. So,
obviously.
folks, we found a live shot of Aggie on the full dose of melatonin.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. I cannot express to you how much I wanted to just jump out my skin. I don't know why it gave me such a reaction. I don't understand it. It wasn't even listed as a possible reaction, so I don't know. I don't know. But yeah. So anyway, excuse me.
So, you got any more?
One of the things that I really liked doing, and I think there's one about an hour and a half from me. So it's kind of difficult to do. But the best thing that I did growing up during the summer, my friends would get together, we would pool all our money so that we could go to the drive-in. We didn't care what the movie was. We weren't there for the movie. We were there to socialize with everybody else. We got out of the car and started going to other cars to say hi and all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I can honestly tell you, I went to the one that was showing the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I did not watch the film at all. I don't even remember the film. And it's not even my kind of film because I don't like slasher movies. But we were there to socialize. That's how we socialized during the summer. So and the guy running the drive-in, he didn't care. He just wanted people to have fun. or whatever. And we were very respectful of those people who were there to watch the movie. So most of the time, my friends would park on the backside so that we could just socialize and everything. And there was always a little kiddie area for, parents who brought their kids to entertain them or whatever. Obviously, no kids were there that night. Um, but I really enjoyed doing that. It was a lot of fun, and it was kind of wholesome because you knew where everybody was. Everybody left when the movie was over and we went straight home. We didn't, there was no incentive to go anywhere else. Where I lived, there was nothing going on. Now it's a big metropolis area, and there are things that don't close down until 4 in the morning. So it's different, but back then it was really cool. And you know, if we did pool enough money, we could buy the big bucket of popcorn and a couple of sodas and everything, and we'd be set. It was great. Like I said,
Yeah.
never watched the movie.
Well, I mean, also depending on how old you are, most of the time when you went to the movies, it wasn't to see the movie anyway. Oh wait, never mind. Never mind.
Well, and that's another thing because you could tell that there were two sections in the back. There was a section with the teeny boppers who wanted to socialize. Okay, that was us. And then next to it was a section of the teeny boppers that did not want to socialize with the rest of
Giggity
us.
giggity, giggity goo.
And you could tell which ones those were. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But and I can honestly say, nope, never happened with me. But that's just the way it was. I
Yeah.
was not a very popular person back then.
Well, it's probably because after the first date, you started talking about their skulls.
I was not into skulls until I went to college and I took the class.
Sure. But no, it's funny that you bring that up because that's actually on my list of summer pastimes. All the time used to be drive-ins. We still have one around here, so I'm actually taking the kids to the drive-in tomorrow night.
Are you really?
Yep.
What do you
The
what's playing?
the first is the new Minions movie, well, new-ish, and then Spider-Man is the late show, so the new one. So
Oh, I heard there was a new Spider-Man movie. God, how many
yeah,
are there?
it came out this weekend. Shit, I don't know. I've lost count. They rebooted it so many times.
Yeah, so I
But
I'm so done. I'm
yeah,
sorry. I am done. Y'all, movies are something that I used to enjoy during the summer. And it wasn't just a drive-in. It was like, the summer blockbuster. You wanted to be there. I mean, so yeah, pulling I would babysit
yeah. Well, I
as much
submit
as
I
possible.
submit that you've never really understood what a summer blockbuster is, considering you've never even seen the movie Top Gun.
Listen, throwing shade is not gonna make you my friend. Okay, so moving on. I know. I need to do that before I die. I get it. So, but
Yeah, you
we
need
would go to
you
the
need to at least
movies.
watch the first one, so when the third one comes out, you can watch the second one finally.
Oh my
'Cause
goodness, there's gonna be a third one?
yes, it's already in production.
Wow. Okay. Anyway, so, you would go to the movies during the summer because that's when the big movies would come out. There's only two seasons for movies, the summer and Christmas Day. Thanksgiving, it was okay. Not a big deal, but because of all the football. So, but Christmas Day was the big one. Summer was the other. Those were the two big ones. And I've noticed that as I've grown older, that I just don't want to do that anymore because the movies that are coming out are really, really weird.
Well,
And
for me, it's not even that. You're right. A lot of the movies suck. The interesting thing that I saw today is there are two different movies running at the same time with the same three central cast members in the same two movies. The Odyssey and the new Spider-Man have like two or three of the same
yes,
in there, and
yes,
I thought that was kind of weird. But for me, it's not even that so many of the new movies just kind of suck. It's that because my kids want them all, and they pay for most of them, so I don't really care. we pay for so many streaming services that I'm like, I might as well just wait till it comes out and just watch it at home.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. I'll just wait. I just have a couple of streaming services. I don't have a lot of them, but
We have like
uh,
almost all of them, but my kids are like, "Can we get this one?" I'm like, "It's your money. Do what you want."
but
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know if
call
you
them kids, but they're in their 30s now, so I'm trying to teach them that they have to figure out what they can and can't afford to
right.
do because I'm not going to be here for forever.
That's true. Anyway, yesterday I saw a trailer for a movie that's coming out. British film called Wicker. And I thought, Wicker? I mean, I know that there was the Wicker Man. I remember that. I didn't watch that one, but I remember something about that. But no, this was Wicker. And so I decided to watch the trailer. And it's about this woman. She's a fisherwoman who is basically a spinster. Um, and so she goes to the local basket weaver and decides she wants him to make her a husband out of wicker. And some kind of magic happens, and this wicker person comes to life, and it becomes, she marries him. And there's a lot of sex going on with this wicker guy. And I'm just like, what is even happening here? I don't understand how, as a society, we've decided that this is a good tale. and, and and so it just struck me that this whole monster thing is moving into the mainstream now. It's not a monster, it's not a minotaur. Admittedly, it's not a chupacabra like the one I had to read, but this guy is made of wicker, and he is very, shall we say, robust. So much so that he breaks the bed several times, and it makes her very happy. And I'm like, but he's wicker. How is this gonna end? I do not understand this. Why the need? Oh, I know why the need. Because you cannot have a man in a manly role, in a masculine role, being masculine and showing masculinity like this. You can't do that. Witness what happened with Odyssey. Odysseus, his main fault was his pride. That's why he was floating around for about 20 years, because he was too prideful. Okay. Needed to be taught a lesson. But no, they couldn't make him that way. They made him very PTSD, very regretful for the war, very regretful for this. So there's no reason for him to be floating out there for 20 years if he's going to be regretting the war. But whatever. They couldn't make him manly. They had to destroy that masculinity about him. And in this case, they couldn't have a man being masculine, so they made him wicker. And I'm like, I am so done. I cannot go to the movies unless the movie is normal. Okay. So for me, the movie is either going to be a documentary or it's going to be a kids movie at this point. I just, I just can't. Like a wicker. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, but so I will say this because I remember when the new He-Man movie was first announced, and everybody was making fun of the fact that he had the pronouns in his nameplate, and everybody
Mhm.
was like, "Oh my god!" I will say that movie was better than I thought it was going to be. It had a lot of cheesy 80ness in it, so if you're not of the time, you probably won't enjoy it as much as I did. But
That's what I heard.
I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. And even the pronoun thing to me, I felt like that was kind of put out there just to get extra clicks on the articles about it. Because in reality, once you see the movie, you'll kind of understand why the pronouns are on his nameplate. And I'm not going to say anything other than that for the folks that haven't seen it yet. But there were a couple small things, like he's supposed to be in Oklahoma City, and they didn't even take the time to research what the OCPD uniforms look like, and I was like, okay, that's kind of a fail. But yeah, so because there was a point when he was supposed to be on our planet, and he was in
Uh-huh.
Oklahoma, and you could tell he was in Oklahoma City because of the skyline and stuff. And then they were in blue uniforms, and I'm like, that's not even what their cars look like. That's not what their uniforms look like. That's not even what their badges look like. I mean, get it? I understand this is for like 10 minutes of the movie, but still, come on. It's one minor gripe. So, but yeah, and even one of the guys at Twitchy was like, yeah, part of it was kind of woke because of some of the messaging that was in there, and I'm kind of like, nah, not really. It didn't feel that way to me, but yeah, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. I laughed a lot more than I thought I was gonna.
A
Um,
lot a lot of
and
my friends that watched the He-Man, cartoons back in the '80s, far younger than me, and also a lot of the Gen X people who remember Dolph Lundgren, they enjoyed this movie, and a lot
dude,
of people are like,
that was the best part. He had a cameo in there. That was
"Yes,
awesome.
yes." That was he's still not gonna lie, he's still pretty dreamy. Gonna
The
have to
funniest part
have to say
is
that.
so this is going to be my only spoiler because I hate doing this, but I have to talk about this part because it was amazing, and then we should probably start saying goodbye because I just looked at the clock. But so they're in a gym, and Dolph Lundgren is there, and the kid that's playing He-Man is grabbing weights, and he's like, "You're in my spot." And the kid's like,
No.
"What?" He's like, "Yeah, you're in my spot." And he's like, "Well, I'm new around here. Any advice for the new kid?" And he's like, "No, get out of my spot."
That is
dying.
precious. That is great. I liked it, when they did the A-Team, um, I know that, Dirk Benedict had a cameo and so did Dwight Schultz. Mr. T opted not to have a cameo in A-Team because he felt that his character he he wanted to keep his character intact or something. I don't know what it was. And of course, by then George Peppard had passed away, so he couldn't obviously have a cameo. But I like it when they have cameos of the people who did the role previously. To me, it's a nice way to honor and make tribute to the previous actor. But I'm looking forward to watching it simply because I do remember the one with Dolph Lundgren. I used to watch the TV show with my little brother. My little brother was like a big fan. And of course, he was like, I don't know if I should go see it. And I'm like, you need to go see it because you were a big fan. You had all the action figures. Yeah, I said
Dude,
you had
I
all.
had a lot of them too.
I said
The one thing I never got, and I was really mad because one of my friends down the street had it, and I never could afford it, was Castle Grayskull. I really wanted Castle Grayskull. Didn't have it.
everybody wanted Castle Grayskull. You could not find a Castle Grayskull back home to save your life. It was like the Patch Kid of 1981. It was the same thing. You couldn't find it. Whoever got their hands on a Castle Grayskull got lucky because there were maybe 3 in the entire Rio Grande Valley. From what I can remember. It actually made the news that people were looking for this stupid toy and they couldn't find it.
Yeah,
And,
that was actually
and
believe
back
me.
then we didn't have Amazon. We didn't have anything like
Yeah,
that. So
there wasn't anything like that. I mean, there were like some catalogs and stuff you could order from, but you couldn't get everything from the catalogs.
right.
And remember the Christmas movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it where they're fighting over toys? Believe it or not, that was actually inspired by that whole Cabbage Patch thing.
Wow. And on that note, I guess we should say goodnight because following our show is I know I'm gonna mispronounce it. I'm gonna
Only because I
mispronounce
mess with you about it all the time.
I'm gonna mispronounce it.
You
But
say it right all the
stay
time,
tuned
and then I say
for
it.
Dungeons and Dragons with Jeff.
No, you're
Curse
gonna
of
get. Hey,
Stephanaros.
we're on YouTube right now. You're gonna get us a copyright strike. No, it's the Curse of Stephanaros.
Yeah.
D&D, not Dungeons and Dragons. We're not trying to steal them.
D&D.
Don't
D&D.
don't give
D&D.
me don't give me a
Curse of
copyright strike.
Stephanaros. Anyway, where can
Or
we
as I
find
call
you?
it, the Curse of Snuffleupagus.
All right, where can we find you?
Don't look for me; it's a trap. I am off tomorrow, and then I think I might do a Kingdom and Country on Sunday night because I have one halfway prepped, And then I'm still deciding right now because I don't know when G's coming back. So I think Rails is just going to keep doing the every other Wednesday thing until I figure out what's going on with G. Because a lot of stuff with SHR is kind of up in the air. And the reason I started doing that on Monday nights was to give Sean an opening act. And I don't know what's going on over there. So yeah, just check the schedule. You can also find me on X at RowdyRick73. You can find me as an occasional contributor at places like misfitspolitics.com, loftusparty.com. I also produce a Loftus Party podcast, which drops on Tuesdays. And hopefully I'll be back writing at Twitchy again next week, now that I have a functional laptop again and I don't have to sit in this sauna all the time. It's a sauna in here. Ugh. Anyway, where can folks find you?
You can find me at Aggie the Barkeep over on X, Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, with Brad Slager doing the Cocktail Lounge. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Friday nights doing He Said, She Said with you. Second Wednesday of every month, 8 p.m. Eastern. Guys get together for Toxic Masculinity, and I bring the drink of the evening. And this coming Monday, Jeff and I are doing first Monday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We're doing our book podcast, Spirited Books. So tune in for that. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we hope you have a great evening.
Hang out for the nerds. They're up next. Just kidding, guys. Love you.